All right, welcome, guys. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. If you tuned in live, go ahead and put your flames in the chat and also let us know where you're listening in from. I have with me, as usual, the king of branding himself, Mr. Shaan Rais, and today we'll be talking about sales. So get ready.
Oh man. Sales. Closing. Listen, guys, IG, LinkedIn Voice, LinkedIn Live, Facebook, $1 billion brand group, right? YouTube and Twitter. We are absolutely everywhere. Phenomenal morning. Today, we're going to talk about sales, closing. Let's get it. Let's talk about the numbers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sean, I noticed something a little different, man. There's no in fact, before I say it, guys, put it in the chat. What is different about is anything different about Sean today? Put
What
it
is
in
it?
the chat.
My background?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. While that's coming in, I want to send a few shout outs. I see just a little bit of shade. Grand Rising to you, Shade.
Phenomenal morning.
We have someone here on Facebook. Phenomenal morning to you. Happy Friday. Travis the critic says gratuitous morning, fam. Wow.
Phenomenal
Well,
morning.
Travis, you make me you almost release my accent to say that, bro. I was going to get rid of my accent to say that, man. Okay. Yvette. Yvette says, phenomenal morning, everyone. Natural born leaders. Happy Friday. Coach B. All right, Sean, the cat's out the bag. So everybody says, no red tie, no red tie, no tie.
Oh, Oh, everybody. Okay. Good stuff. Well, we're talking about sales today. Well, two different things, right? It's Friday. It's
True.
Friday, and we're talking about numbers today. So I figured I would channel billionaire Bruce Wayne this morning. I figured I would channel the billionaire Bruce Wayne. When I wear the red tie, that's kind of like Superman's cape. I have fun. I have to have fun. If you don't have fun doing business, then you're not going to succeed. You're not going to go very far. If money is the only objective, guys, oh man, let me tell you, you're going to live a sad life, sad and miserable. Ebenezer Scrooge, right? Ebenezer Scrooge, his main objective was money. I think I put up on Facebook the other day that money is supposed to be the outcome, not the objective. Right. So I have fun with what I do. I absolutely love business. I have an absolute passion for helping people, for solving problems, and for introducing innovation and change in the context of leadership, specifically leadership, branding, and character development. Like if you would ask me like what were my three linchpins, it would be the intersection of leadership, branding, character development. So yeah, that's why the sans the tie, right? I said today is not a Superman day, today's a Batman day. Let's go.
Batman. Sean, a lot of people prefer Batman. How many Batman fans in the building? Put a hashtag. Let me see. Put a hashtag Batman if that's you. And how
Uh-oh.
many, how many Superman? I think
Uh-oh.
most people like Batman because Batman, I guess he's more real, He's more real. Like, yeah, you don't have to be from another planet or from the sun or, something to be a good person and to have powers and to do something really cool, right? And then you have
Really?
the other side. You have the other side that say Batman, he doesn't have no powers. Why is he even there? Why is he even there? So
Why is he even there?
yeah, because he's the only one that doesn't have any powers.
Oh, but he does.
And what's that?
He's rich. He's
So
he's really rich. In the Justice League, right? In the Justice League, they actually ask Batman. As a matter of fact, it's the Flash. So the Flash asks Batman. He says, "What's your superpower?" And this is while getting into a platinum elongated Mercedes Benz. Platinum elongated Mercedes Benz. He says, so Batman, what is your superpower? He says, I'm rich. That's it. He has access to the technology in the systems. Let me put it that way. Money is a means, it is a mold, it is a vehicle. Money is also the score. Money is not the game. When the game is money, you never win. Please write that down. Please write that down, guys. When the money is the game, you never win because it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. But when your mind is right and you tackle a problem and you want to change the world and you want to help people become more empowered, money is a means. Money becomes a way to do it, a way to impact people. Too cool to lose. I see you, Selva Young, on IG, Joseph Starks on LinkedIn Live. Money is a means. That's it. When people want to raise their level of impact, it requires energy, energy in the form of currency. The root word of currency is current, it's joltage. You have more of an impact
Mhm.
based on the velocity and the pressure in which you can exert. I break that down in the seven prerequisites to success, the root word of currency.
Sean, I love that. I love what you just said about money being currency. I've said it before. Money is the evidence of an exchange of energy.
Mm, come on, let's go.
Evidence of the exchange of energy. And
Evidence of
I was doing something. I was literally doing something. I think 2 nights ago, and I wrote down there's unlimited energy, right, in the world at large. There's unlimited energy. So
definitely is.
that means that there's unlimited money, if that's what money is. See that, guys? There's unlimited energy, so there's unlimited money. Now it so happened that today we're talking about sales
Also, unlimited opportunity.
or potential.
Unlimited opportunity. And there's not a finite amount of problems either. So there's an infinite amount of problems for the person who's creative and for the person who's innovative, for the person who wants to be a game changer, world changer. You know, there's nothing but opportunity. You know, there used to be a saying where I come from, there's nothing between us but air and opportunity. And the air just left the room.
Yeah, yes, sir. We just happen to be talking about sales today, right? So everybody knows, well, maybe not everybody knows, but sometimes sales result in a transfer of money, which is a transfer of energy.
Of
So,
course.
but you know what I find interesting, Sean?
What's
We often say service is senior to the sale, which means that you have to serve somebody first. Well, most of the time, right? You have to serve somebody first before they give you money. I was on a call with a lady yesterday, and she was telling me, oh, she's invested X amount before and got absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing. So, guys, we always say service is senior to the sale. You have to serve somebody, right? And if you're serving somebody, technically you're giving them your energy. So there is sales from the perspective of you depositing currency into the prospect or into the client before the client disperses a result, right? Which is the money. So if you don't put any money, quote unquote, energy into what you're doing, into the prospect, how do you expect to get any currency or money back out?
I love it. I love it. And I wanna stretch this out, right? So I'm not gonna use this pin. I'm gonna use the money pin. Okay. Yeah, you gotta have wealth triggers, guys. You gotta have things around you that make you feel good and make you like you want to see money around you. And closing like a leader, I taught to keep $1,000 cash on you, on your person at all times. And everybody was like, "Oh, it's a plastic society. We don't do cash." I said, "No, no, 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 no. You must have paper currency at all times. You want to see it. You want to place it around you. Like you want to trip and stumble over it. You want to find it all around you, right? You want to look like it, feel like it, smell like it, and keep it in little tokens around you. So anyway, watch this. Currency flows like this. It's supposed to flow. It is infinite, like the sign of infinite. this is an 8, and a lot of people say that 8 is the number of infinity and endless opportunity and possibility, right? Don't fall asleep or get hypnotized. Right? But watch this. When you try to stop the flow, you're breaking a universal law of harmony and coexistence, mutualism, right? When you try to be the only beneficiary and stop the flow and say, I need to hold this, I need to save this, I can't give this away, I can't invest this, you fall out of harmony with universal law. And that's why the moment you do that, your value begins to decrease in the marketplace. The moment you do that, it stops flowing to you. And the only thing you can do at that time is lose and bleed out, because the cost of living never goes down. So the moment you stop the flow, you stop the growth. You stop growing as soon as you stop flowing.
You know, Shaan, there's a quote. I wish I could remember exactly what it is, but it's in the book, The Science of Getting Rich. I know you've read that one.
Bottles.
Yes, guys. And if you haven't read that book, you should. But he talks about a principle of increase. Basically, he's saying that everything in nature wants to increase itself. So plants keep growing, trees keep bearing fruit. Everything in nature, everything that's natural has a programming, let's say a programming to increase itself. And he was saying that when it comes to getting rich, we have to find ways to not only enrich ourselves, but to enrich everything that we touch, everything that we come into contact with, and especially enrich other people. So
That's
if
right.
your mission is not to enrich other people, then you're going against that universal principle of increase, because he uses the word God, right? So he says God wants to increase himself or herself. So that's like you were saying yesterday. He will give to somebody who gives because he needs to receive. So if you're not giving, why would I give you if you're not going to help me to increase myself? So guys, it's just a principle that you have to help other people make money for you to make money. And before you go to the break, I heard somebody say this, Shaan. They said the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. A millionaire knows how to make money. A billionaire knows how to help other people make money.
Whew. We're going to leave on that. We're going to leave on that. Think about that. Think about what Junior just said. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just a very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Shaan Rais. I'm proud. Shaan Rais. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Shaan, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold. in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes. Let me speak to the principle of this, right? I don't think we've made the statement this morning yet. Share this out, guys. Share this out. Let your platform become a vessel. Let your platform become a vessel of value and transformation for the people who are watching you, for the people who are tuned into you, for the people who will never meet Shaan Rais. Let them meet the value that we provide through you by sharing this to your platform. Again, if you stop the flow, you stop the growth.
100%. 100%. And you know something, Shaan, that flow is at all levels. At all levels. Like from the smallest level to the biggest level. And that's why we say in sales, the first step on the road to the sale is attitude. You have to have a phenomenal attitude because it really starts with you. You have to have a phenomenal attitude and phenomenal energy when actually engaging in a sale.
You know, I got a thought. You could tell, right?
I can tell.
Okay, so tomorrow morning, guys, on the Breakfast with the Brand, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, we have a guest. We have another guest. So to Junior's point, you have to have phenomenal energy. You have to have phenomenal power. You have to feel strong. So we're going to bring out, he's a secret guest. I'm not going to tell you who he is yet. But when I tell you that the brand is flowing and growing, the brand is flowing and growing. So we're consistently looking for ways to bring more people, bring more value, and let you see what that looks like. So like Junior said, you got to have phenomenal energy. You got to feel tremendous. We have someone who is going to help you feel tremendous. And we're actually developing a wing, another wing within the brand for brand health and brand core. Because you have to feel physically phenomenal in order to feel mentally phenomenal and in order to become economically phenomenal. Go ahead, Junior. I just had to share that, man.
Nah, that was good. That was good. I love the fact that you mentioned the physical part and the mental part, because most phenomenal sales, in fact, all phenomenal salespeople, they have some kind of routine where they're working out in the morning. This is the one thing I know for sure. They stand up when they work. They stand up when they work, or they have a treadmill. They run on a treadmill about 3 miles an hour, thereabout. But they're moving while they work, so that their brain doesn't get tired. So it's those little distinctions, guys, that really make a difference. And it seems like nothing, but it makes a world of difference.
It sure does.
What are your thoughts on that, Shaan? What are your thoughts on?
Man, let me tell you, one of the best and highest level investments I made was in a treadmill. You know, and I was never a runner. Like where I come from, you don't run. That's just, you don't run. You don't talk too much. You don't talk, you know what I mean? Like you don't talk and you don't run. You stand and you fight. So being young, raised on those principles, I never really learned how to run. I realized around 2025, I was like, hold on now. I don't move like a lot. Like I don't move. Like I'm healthy because I lift and I lift my body weight. You know, that's another thing, guys. If you can't lift your body weight, you're in trouble. Don't just pull weights. If you can't lift your body weight, you're in trouble. So, you know, I did all of those things, but when it came to running, that wasn't my thing. But that treadmill piece was one of the best investments I made. You want to sweat, you want to release toxins, you want to do all of those things in order to feel phenomenal. There's something called a runner's high. There's something called a runner's high when you run and you just release all kinds of endorphins and feel good stuff in your mind. Like, guys, your body is a pharmaceutical's dream come true. Real talk. Like, a lot of people go outside of themselves to find things that make them feel something. But if you go inside of yourselves, you can find things that make you feel everything. So, right. So, and moving your body, eating the right foods, plenty of hydration, plenty of sleep, all of those things play a factor. And we're going to be talking about that. Now, let me say something about that. The optimization of the gift that you've been given in for the form of the physical form, gift that you've been given will make you better in all areas, more powerful, more electric in all areas. So sales are easy. It's the psychology that's hard. That's what I found. Sales are easy. It's the psychology that's hard, man. That's the 80-20. The 20% sales. That's simple. As long as you get the 80% right.
Shaan, I can speak to that a little bit.
Please.
When you say that, like that is so real. I was talking to a group the other day, young people, and I was about sales, and I was telling them, when you're in sales, you have to think of yourself as an athlete. That's the way I think of myself when I'm doing sales, and let me tell you why. and guys, if you've had this experience, then you know what I'm talking about. When you're on the phone, let's say you're doing phone sales, and you have to make, let's say, 100 calls a day. When you get to number 20, you're looking at the screen, or you're looking at whatever your phone, and you say, okay, I must have gotten to like 50. And then the harsh reality is you've only done like 15. I'm so serious. Like an hour can pass, and then you realize I only made like 15 calls, 20 calls. And then you're thinking, man, I have like 4 more hours to do.
That's
And
right.
then that's where the doubt and that's the most difficult part. Number one, maintaining the energy throughout the rest of the hours, the other 3 hours, maintaining your optimism. People might have hung up on you. People might have said some stuff that you didn't want to hear. And then, then when you go to the next prospect, you have to be just as enthusiastic. And what I've found is that you literally have to think of yourself as an athlete to be able to perform. Just like if any of you do any kind of competitive sport like boxing or something, or track, then you know in that zone, let's say you're running a marathon. So most people have run a marathon before. They get to a point in a marathon, maybe like you're like 1/4 of the way, and then your mind starts to say, boy, why did I sign up for this? I know that always happens to me. 1/4 of the way, I'm like, boy, just so boy, Junior, why you decide to do that? Like a big Friday, you could have been doing something else. Why did you decide to go and sign up for this? And now you're running on the road, like you're not supposed to be running on the road, all kind of stuff. And then what you find is when you break past that little voice, when you break past that little voice in a marathon, then the other half of the marathon becomes a little bit easier. And that's when you start to cruise. And then after the marathon, you feel like you can do another one.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm talking about, right? So after the thing is done, you feel like, man, that was easy. I could have done another one. I could still keep going. But in the first quarter of it, you're like, man, this is stupid. Why did I register for this? And it's
Yeah.
the same thing when you're doing sales. So I tell people all the time, try contacting 100 people a day for 100 days. And sometimes they stop on number 20. And like, Junior, I've been doing this for 2 hours. I've only touched 20 people, or I've only touched 30 people. How can I do this faster? Or, what else can I do? That's not the point. The point is to develop the discipline to keep going, and not just to keep going, Sean, but to keep going the same amount of energy, the same amount of enthusiasm. And the prospect that you're going to call next, they cannot hear a drop in your energy. It has to be the same consistent feeling, the same script, the same everything, and that's the most difficult part of the
Mm.
entire.
You know, Coach B is talking about a marathon that she ran, right? She said she ran a marathon and it was a game changer. And then she agrees with you and says at mile 24, she was like, whose great idea was this, right?
Exactly, exactly.
You
Yeah,
find let me say this, you find yourself, you find your better version in competition. You find your greatest version in competition. And that's why I say that, don't let money be the objective, let money be the outcome. So the people that win the championships are not the ones who set out to win the championships. The people who win the championships are the ones who sign up to have the most fun and to dominate, to win, to obliterate the competition. Now, let me say this. The greatest competitor that you will ever face in sales, business, basketball, academics is yourself. I can remember when I picked up a package of the inspirational workout stuff that when you're in that space, there's a lot of different little, like I said, so there's wealth triggers, there's strength triggers, there's endurance triggers, and things of that nature. So one of them was a wristband that I had. I had this wristband and it said you versus you. It's you versus you. So when you're under 315 pounds, you look at the wristband and it's not the weight, it's you. The weight is the weight. That's all it is. The weight is the weight, guys. Your workload is the workload. Your challenge is the challenge. The economic situation that you're going through is the economic situation that everybody's going through. Billionaires are going through the same thing. Look, Elon Musk just lost like $2 billion, billions of dollars, right? How would you eat a sandwich after that? How would you stomach that? How would you weather that? So when it rains on everybody. It's just that some people performed well and could afford an umbrella. That's the difference. And you'll notice that the ones that performed well, that could and they could afford an umbrella, they don't look bad about the rain. They don't feel bad about the rain. They're like, stuff happens. It is what it is. Be prepared for whatever happens. Keep an optimal mindset like Junior talked about. So the two words that Junior was talking about, really, if you ask me, is stamina and endurance. Stamina and endurance. If sales is a numbers game, it's stamina and endurance. If mastery takes place at the 10,000th hour, it's stamina and endurance. If you're looking to achieve anything of any merit or consequence, anything with any impact, the game you're playing is stamina and endurance. Sales is no different.
I agree. Sean, let's go to our second break. Guys, we'll be back very soon.
The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Shaan's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Shaan is the bomb.
So if you guys notice this, Just to bring back what we talked about a moment ago, I did not have an offer. I had a heart to help people. Money became the byproduct of that, the outcome of the objective.
That's right. Sean, let's go into a little bit of sales, like the actual process now.
Good.
Where would you say a sale begins officially? When does the sales process officially start?
The sale begins with an idea. The sale begins with an idea. The idea is to solve a problem, to be of value. You have to detect the problem, find out what the problem is, and then be creative enough to come up with a solution to it. If you don't have a solution to a problem, you don't have a sale. You don't have value. You don't have an offer. You got to find out what you actually do. And then why? And that's why we start the 5W framework at what? Like, what do you do? Who do you serve? Who do you serve first? Like, who do you serve? Who do you want to serve? And then what is the problem that they have? What does that look like? Most people start a sale with, I want to make money. I got to make money. I got to make money. And like I always say, selfless or selfish, that's a selfish perspective. And it's going to be very, very hard to produce abundance. What happens is, remember what I said yesterday, instead of abundance, you have anxiety. You end up with anxiety when you're like, I got to make money. I got to make money. I got to make money. You'll make more money than you ever thought possible if you have a passion to solve a problem. Money is the transference of energy wherein one party is solving a problem, the other party they need help. They need that problem solved. So for me, I'm flying. I'm flying later. And I'm flying somewhere to speak in front of a crowd. The airplane solves a problem. First class solves a problem. First class solves a problem. I don't want to be the last one off the plane. I don't want to be the last one on the plane, right? And those are problems for me. I don't want to sit behind people and have to hear what's going on with them. So that's a problem. So the first class seat solves a problem. The fact that I'm flying instead of driving solves a problem. And it's a pretty expensive problem to have. If you got to drive 10 miles or not 10, but 100 miles, 250 miles, that's a problem. That's a problem. And if you've ever sat on the back of a plane, you understand the problem too, right? That's a problem as well, right? So it's a pretty expensive problem that you can have. For me, I'm all about solving problems. So I help people solve the problem of being invisible and going from invisible to invincible, going from having a lot of competence to a lot of confidence, going from being unknown to full blown, from bland to industry leading brand. What's the problem that you solve?
So the sale starts with the problem.
You have to identify.
Starts with the desire. Is it the desire or is it the identification?
The idea, from idea to identification. You want to be of value, and then you want to say, okay, boom, I'm going to solve this problem. And don't try to solve the problem because people are getting paid for solving that problem. That's a common problem that people have. That's a problem that people have, clarity on what they do and who they are and what problem they solve. And it usually happens because they're looking at other people make money and they say, oh, if I do that, then I can make money. He's successful doing that. I'll just do branding. No. See, Shaan comes from where I come from, right? Shaan has been studying style and fashion and branding and leadership. I have a master's degree, multiple master's degrees. One of them is being conferred on me, and it's educational leadership. So when it comes to leadership, I know what I'm talking about. The reason is because I'm extremely passionate about it. Extremely passionate about it. Changing the face of leadership, being the face of leadership, bringing other people to the face of leadership, changing the gamut, changing the vanguard. When we talk about it, you can tell my energy changes. My energy shifts and I become passionate, right? And you feel the fire, you probably feel the energy emanating off whatever screen you're watching this on. That's a passion for a problem. 9 times out of 10, leadership doesn't light you up like that. So you're not going to be able to perform or exert your energy in the same way. So we can both tackle the same problem, but we're not going to get the same results. And that's why I say business is an individual spiritual game. You have to figure out what lights you up on the inside. What problem makes you come alive and run into the fire as opposed to out of the fire?
That's really powerful. That's really powerful. And I think there's a lot inside of what you just said, and I want to unpack it just a little bit for the people that are listening.
Yes, sir.
So guys, the importance. So Sean said something here. So people often ask you, what do I sell? What do I sell? So for the people listening that don't have anything to sell, or they're not sure what to sell, Sean just gave it to you. You need to solve a problem. I was talking to somebody the other day. Um, they want to be a coach, and then I asked them, well, what problem do you solve? And they didn't know what to say. So I'm like, if you're not solving a problem, how are you supposed to get paid? It's simple. Like, I'll use a, okay, you can use a phone. The phone solves a problem. A cup, a simple, something like a cup. A cup solves a problem. The StreamYard solves a problem. Everything solves a problem. And I think a lot of the time, and I want to ask you a question about this, right? How much importance do you place on innovation? Because when we look at people that are making, let's say people making hundreds of millions of dollars, really and truly, they're just solving common problems better than somebody else. Like for example, if we're in the market for cups, I just need to make a cup and make it a little better than what Sean made, and I can make some money. It's not anything that's so complicated. Like I think people try to complicate business a little too much, right? So they want to come up with the next SpaceX or the next big idea. But is the value in doing something, finding a problem that somebody's already solving and just solving it a little better than they are? You don't have to be Albert Einstein. You don't have to be Elon Musk. All you need to do, literally, identify something. It could be anything, and just solve it a little better than the next person. What are your thoughts on that? How much emphasis do you place or importance do you place on innovation as opposed to just common sense, like common sense thinking?
I love the question. And I'm going to come at it from a different angle. And I'm going to use branding, differentiation. Differentiation. So Junior said something that is highly aspirant. It is highly aspirant to be better than someone else or something else. It's very highly aspirant. However, I believe that different is better than best. Different is better than best. And this is why. This pen and this pen both solve the same problem. Is one better than the other one? Well, watch this. You see how that just came out? Well, maybe you'll see if it's put it against my white shirt. You see how that just came out? So the tip just came out of the pen, right? The tip just came out. But watch this. If you take this and you press it down, the tip comes out of that too. They both solve the problem of wanting to write something down. Preference is in the eye of the beholder, guys. So whether this pen is, there's so many people that would say this pen is better than this pen. But this pen comes in a pack of maybe 20 for $2. This pen is more than $2,500. Which one is better? Some would say this is better because of the economic difference. Some would say that this is better because it makes them feel different. But the truth is, they're just different. They're just different. And this is why I say brand you and not what you do. Because when you brand you, you make yourself different. You differentiate. And there are people that will be drawn to your difference. You should all write it down and underline it. There is difference, and so people will make a decision and be drawn to you based on your differentiation. Let me give you another example. This cup, this cup, this cup, and this cup. Some would say this is better because of the handle. Others would say the handle just gets in the way. So difference, like, or better, preference is in the eye of the beholder, like beauty. The best thing that you can do, is be different. Because when you become different and when you brand you and not what you do, or not the fact that it's a cup, who cares that it's a cup? What is the values of your company? What do you stand for? What do you stand for? Think about slippers. Think about slippers. So slippers are slippers, right? Slippers are slippers. They do what they do. However, Tom's slippers gives a pair of slippers to someone in a impoverished country. That's the difference. We're not going to say that Tom's slippers are better than anyone else's. We're going to say that when we buy a pair of Toms, someone else gets a pair of Toms. Now, someone may say that the make, the style, the feel is not as good as someone else's slippers. That might be less in price than Tom's. But when they buy Tom's, they feel the value of contribution. Now, this is deep psychology here. I hope you guys are welcome with me, and I hope you guys appreciate the value I'm giving you right now, because this is the difference between Tom's, which is a multi-mega million and billion-dollar company based on philanthropic value, and some unknown slipper with the, you know what I mean? Like with some unknown bland, non-brand, sorry, excuse for footwear. You understand? I need you to understand this, because if you miss this, you're going to miss everything.
Oh yeah. So it's all about values. And I could remember the late and great Steve Jobs, rest in peace, right? So Steve Jobs, he has one of my favorite videos when it comes to the concept of marketing. And he said that Apple is not about making boxes for people to work with. So everybody thinks Apple is a computer company, but Steve Jobs said Apple was not a computer company. He said it. He said that they're about changing lives. They're about innovation, and they're about celebrating great people. And then he said, and after this is where he showed the ad, Sean. The think different ad. I think everybody remembers that. And then
1980.
yeah. And then he says, some of the people that were in the video, some of them had passed, right? They had been long gone, but they were innovators like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, etc., etc. And Steve Jobs said, and he put it so eloquently. He said, when you look at the video and you know Apple, you know that if some of those people were still alive, they would be using a Mac. They would be using a Mac.
The energy. I just want to talk about the motivation and the inspiration and the energy of your sales force. So one company employs people to sell boxes to work on, or boxes to work with. Another company sells transformation and life change. That's where the power of sales come in. And that's why I say the most important close is closing you. You have to close you first. If you don't believe in your product, if you're not passionate about your product, if you're not like lit up for the value that you provide, then you're going to be a lackadaisical salesperson. And the CEO, believe it or not, is the best closer for your business. and the best role model. And if you're not excited, if you're not lit, if you're not fired up, then no one on your sales staff is going to be, number one. And number two, no one that you're speaking to about buying your services or purchasing or doing business with you is going to be interested. They're going to be just as excited as you are. They're going to be just as passionate as you are. And if you're just there to sell a box, you know, if you're just there to pay a bill, then they're not going to pay your bill for you, man. Nobody pays your bills for you. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So when you approach business or you approach sales from a place of demotivation, which is, oh, I got to pay for this, I got to go do that, that's a loss. That's a loss from the very beginning. Wrong psychology. I don't care what your sales skill are or what your sales skill is. You will not be successful sustainably in business or in sales if you're not passionate and you don't believe in what you're supposed to believe in. It just won't work. It just will not work. Why? Because once you pay the bill, watch this, Junior. If your passion is to pay the bill, phone bill, let's just use for reference, phone bill. Okay, I got to pay the phone bill. What do I got to go sell something. I got to go sell something because I got to pay the phone bill. When you pay the phone bill, the passion is gone because the need is gone. So the energy dissipates until the next need occurs, which means you only sell enough to take care of what you need to take care of, and your business never grows.
True. It's true. It's true. It's true. Shaan, we're actually overdue for our last break, so let's take that break quickly. And guys, when we come back, more on sales. Stay tuned.
Let's grow.
It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just a very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I don't talk theory, I don't talk hyperbole, I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Shaan Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
All right, guys, so we're back. Coach B posted something. I want to highlight that. Coach B says, Zig Ziglar, sales transference. If you don't believe, your client won't believe. I want to say something to that. You know, this morning, Shaan, I actually saw a video from Mr. Ed Milet. I think you know Ed, right?
I do.
Ed said something. He said the difference between good salespeople and great salespeople are that good salespeople try to get you to believe what they're telling you, what they're saying. And he says great salespeople are trying to get you to believe that they believe what they're saying. And then he said he bought an AP, a watch. He doesn't know anything about the watch. If you ask him if it's a good product, he doesn't know. He only knows that whoever sold it to him was so convinced that he had to get it that he eventually got it.
You know, that reminds me of Bob Proctor. So Bob Proctor started reading the Think and Grow Rich book because someone gave it to him and said that if he read this book, it would change his life. Now he was, I think, in his 40s. He was Nope, he was in his 20s and he was making no money at all. As a matter of fact, he was making like $4,000 a year and he owed $20,000. That's how the story goes. He was making about $4,000 a year. He owed $20,000. He was in debt. He said, I didn't feel well. I felt sick. So he was infirm. He didn't feel good. He didn't think well about business. He said he wasn't smart. None of those things. So when the person gave him the book, he said, I didn't believe that it would help me. He said, but I believe that the person believed that it would help me. He said the way they were so energetic and so passionate about me reading this book and the effect that it would have on my life, I took the book and I began to read it. And through the reading of the book and through the process of repetition, which deepens the impression, reading this manual over and over again began to raise his level of vibration, began to raise his ability to touch and to affect change, and began to draw all kinds of opportunities to him and help him think differently. That 2 to 3 years later, he turned around and he was a multimillionaire. And he said, what was it? I tried to keep finding out what it was. And the next 20 years of his life was spent finding out what it was. Right. And he said, not only did he research, try to find out what it was that changed his life, he also continued to read the book every single day from that day that the person gave it to him until the day that he passed away.
Wow. Wow. Guys, that's just the power of conviction. I think every great salesperson will tell you that sales is a transfer of conviction. It's a transfer of confidence and conviction. So if you don't believe in what you're doing, then it's virtually impossible to sell. Shaan, do you think that that's why people have a problem? Do you think it is that they just don't believe in themselves? They don't believe in what they're doing? Do you think that might be what it is? Because even if like somebody who doesn't have any kind of sales experience, so let's say you didn't know anything about sales, you can still sell. There are people who've never taken a sales course in their life. They've never taken any kind of formal sales training, sales education, and they still sell and they sell very well. So is it a thing where people just don't believe in themselves? Do you think that's what it is?
Belief is intangible. Belief is intangible. It's a statement. People say, I believe all the time and do things that contradict their statements. So it's not about saying that you believe. It's actually about doing the thing that you say you believe in. And that's where integrity shows up. So people say, I believe, but they don't activate on that belief. So their life tells me that they don't believe. Their business tells me that they don't believe. They say, oh yeah, I can do it. I've got a master's degree. I'm I'm this person, that person, this person. And then I look into their affairs and I'm like, you don't believe it. You got a master's in psychology, but you don't believe that you're a master of psychology. Very serious. You've got an MBA, a master's in business administration, but you don't have a business. You're not even in the role of an MBA in someone else's business. You're doing something completely against what you got a degree in. The degree states that you are the person. That's why people hire you. People hire you because you did whatever it took to be qualified as a master of business administration. But are you administering business in the vein of a master? Definitely not. So you may have a master's of business administration, but you don't believe that you're a master of business administration.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge one. It's a psychology piece. Here's another psychology piece. Never try to get someone to buy what you haven't done yourself. You got to be a consumer of your own content, a consumer of your own value. If you're trying to sell something to somebody that you don't believe in, then you're a con man or a con artist. because you're trying to get someone to buy something that you wouldn't buy yourself. And that's a problem. For me, my goal was to put more than $250,000 in my head of value before I try to sell anybody anything for $5,000. I said, I need to put $250,000 of value in here before I try to sell anybody anything, because if I don't buy it, if I don't believe it, if I don't invest it, then why would they invest with me? Now we've almost turned that we've almost multiplied that 4 times. You know, I'm probably somewhere around 850, 950 to $1 million here. So it's comfortable for me to say it costs $500,000. It costs $250,000. The investment is going to be of $180,000. It's comfortable for me to say that because it's gone through me. I've given it. So I deserve it and I can receive it. If you haven't given it, then why do you feel entitled for it? Why do you feel entitled to it? Make the kind of investments that you want to receive. Make the kind of investments in yourself that you want other people to make in themselves. If not, if you haven't done it, if you haven't experienced it, you can't tell anybody about the experience. If you haven't benefited from it, then you can't tell anybody about the benefits. If you haven't experienced it, then you can't tell anybody else about the features. In other words, you really don't know what you're doing.
100%. Shaan, listen, we're about to end. Guys, there's a link to the bottom of the screen, www.livedeepdive.com. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, connect with us on Zoom, and we'll be able to answer a lot more of your questions. Of course, it's 100% free of charge to attend. The only investment is the time that you spend. And really, truly, man, like it's thousands of dollars worth of value that you're getting for the cost of investment of your time. So if I were you, I would definitely go to the link www.livedeepdive.com and register for free. Any final comments, Shaan?
Yeah, it becomes a question of the same thing. Do you believe in yourself enough to invest in yourself? A lot of times I have a call with somebody and somebody will say, well, I don't have the time. You're right, you don't. People say, well, I don't have the money. You're right, you don't. If that's your belief, then you're right, you don't. I can remember when my bank account was empty, but I was a multimillionaire. So now I am. I can remember when I didn't have any time, but I still found a way to take vacations and spend time with the people that I love because that was my value. That was my value. And now I have nothing but time. So I want you to think, what are your values? What are your beliefs? What are your practices? What are you selling? What are you trying to get people to convince? What are you trying to convince people to do? And then what have you done for yourself? Let's grow.
Let's grow.
Don't sell yourself short. Sell yourself high. Make sure your prices are high. But in order to charge high prices, you want to be able to pay high prices.